ladies and gentlemen, to Zurich at the Savoy. This is the third round of this Zurich Chess Challenge 2014, and heat is on even after the end of the time control. Two games have finished, both have been drawn between Aronian and Gelfen first, and then Caruana and Anand. Both games were interesting and balanced, but we have one star game which is unbelievable actually, Werner and Peter. Peter Leko, actually our star guest here at the commentary, whom would like to thank again for helping us, and also Werner Hug and myself, as every year. Well, this game between Nakamura and Carlsen is just amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, this is incredible. I mean, such a turn of events, but actually I'm extremely happy that we did not use the engines. And like this, that we analyzed the situation and we also did not find the win. People can much easier understand why also under the pressure Hikaru did not manage to find the win, because it was extremely difficult.
Actually, we thought we had the win, but it was the same he did.
Exactly. I mean, we fell into the same trap. Mm-hmm.
No, it looked so winning. Yeah, actually we can see Magnus' face here when knight c4 happened. I mean, there is a focus on his face just when c4 happened, when knight c4 happened, and he got shocked. But actually, the amazing thing is that knight c4 was not the wrong move. Actually, objectively, it only appeared to Carlsen that it was the wrong move. But in fact, this was not, because if we look at it,
it looks that knight c8 even gave him still some slight advantage.
Yes, but this is a move that basically
he needs more time for.
He needs more time. He first of all probably blundered queen takes e4, because actually the point was that black was completely logged. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and black had basically no future, no perspective in the position, and all of a sudden the e4 pawn, to which black never had access to, has fallen. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just incredible out of the blue, and Magnus was shocked, probably because he just could not believe himself that he will get another chance in this game.
Yeah, indeed, yeah. And actually, one of the funny thing here, from afar we also thought that d6 is the decisive blow for white and it's going to win, and in fact it's a mistake. Whereas moves like queen f1 is very difficult to say. But when we just had a break now, yes, and I saw someone on the way to the restroom saying, well, everybody saw queen d3, and I said, well,
nobody's on the screen.
And what is queen d3? Even myself, for the moment, I mean, queen d3, what's happening after queen takes g5? I mean, even now I can't really, I don't understand why everybody saw.
Yes, and even knight
queen
d6.
d3. I mean, okay, it's probably winning some way, but how? Why?
No, then maybe queen h3 back, or what?
Because this is obviously the
h3
reason why you can't. And maybe back, but okay, this is not.
And queen c1 check, king a2.
But yeah, of course, it's
and
not
then
easy.
White wins. But this is the point. Once you get a small hint from a computer, then everything becomes so easy.
Yeah.
But the players don't get a hint, not once in a game, because actually I think that if one of the top players would just get one hint per game, his rating would at least grow by 100 or 150 points, just with one hint per game. And not a move, maybe just an evaluation where you are not sure, and one of these complicated variations you calculate, and maybe you even see everything, but you cannot evaluate, or you cannot believe that it's true what you are seeing. And then that's why you are making a different decision. So just a small hint and they say that no, this is winning, and then everything becomes clear. Without this information, you are in the dark.
Yeah, and actually we just saw on the screen, now we are back full on Nakamura, but we also saw Hikaru's father on the first rank in the... I happened to have a chat just 5 minutes ago with him, and he said, wow, unbelievable, but it was difficult, and it seemed so crushing, and maybe g7 was not right. He probably didn't really have an engine, or maybe he said g takes f7 would have won as well, and well, he's here to support his son now, and it's a very difficult moment for him, because Hikaru understands, as we can see, shaking his head. He understands what he has done or what has happened. He knows as much as Carlsen how that white was completely winning, and he understands as much as Carlsen that he's probably lost now. And this kind of feeling, I mean, during the game, of course, while you are still fighting for survival, is so hard to contain. That it's obvious that he has to shake his head. I would do obviously the same, and probably most players would do the same. And I can't even imagine if he happens to lose this game, how he will feel tonight. I would actually probably smash my whole room, hotel room. So it's extremely complicated. Imagine, and I imagine myself against normal grandmasters, but here he has a chance to beat the world champion, which he has never managed to do.
And his style.
And great
Big
style indeed, yeah. Well, it seems this move 37 was the turning point, although probably both players understood it a bit later only. Because here after rook d8, well, white still has knight c8 apparently,
Yeah.
but it's very hard to understand why it's good and why, I mean, you want to stop.
I would say with half an hour he sees.
Because knight
this
f5 seems to be obvious, but white gets mated,
And
astonishingly.
it's also obvious that you get mated,
Yes.
actually.
Yes, yeah.
It's surprising, but
And
actually
here,
quite obvious.
queen b6, and the queen enters, and it's over. So actually, this is easy to see, and after knight c4, suddenly this pawn e4, you mentioned it was cementing the white's position, always under control, never attacked, and suddenly the pawn is hanging, and this is...
No, but
This is
actually also I
unbelievable.
think one of the reasons why knight c8 even Hikaru did not think about, that knight c8 is basically maybe securing a small advantage, but it was not his plan.
Yeah.
When he went for
Yes, of
for
course,
this
yeah.
line, he was believing that he just retreats his knight and the game is over basically.
Mm-hmm.
The job is done, and it would have been the case if queen e4 would not be possible. So queen takes e4 was a cold shower, definitely a cold shower. And it was a very difficult task for him to make move 40 because he had like 6 minutes.
6 minutes about?
6 minutes on the clock, and the things are changing, and suddenly it's a completely different situation. His king is also wide open, so
So queen h5 is quite a
Yeah,
move.
according to the computer, and again, it's something hard for us to understand, and for human beings, that knight e3 is supposed to be the only move to maintain the balance here for white, whereas knight b2 or what Hikaru Nakamura played in the game queen h5 gives black the advantage. And why? I mean, you need, for instance, knight e3. I mean, you allow queen d4 check. You allow rook d2. Well, rook d2 maybe not because of queen c8, but you allow so many things. It's very hard to understand that this is okay for.
yeah, I mean
For
knight
white
e3
here.
is an extremely difficult move to make move 40.
You also cut the queen, which cannot defend several key squares.
Exactly, this is I think psychologically the key,
Yeah.
that the third rank is blocked, and suddenly you feel like there are no pieces defending the king. So if in fact black would be able to pose one threat against the white king, the game would be over. And okay, thanks to the computer and in calm situation you can understand that there are no real threats, but with ticking clock and after all these dramatic events, it's far from obvious. So I would actually go as far as to say that queen h5 was a very logical move.
Yeah,
I
actually.
mean, he covers the d1 square, the knight on c4 still covers the d2 square, and basically he wants queen e2 maybe next move to stabilize the situation, and basically this is all you need, move 40, to see finally that, okay, things are more or less under control.
But rook d3 happened in the game, which, if I remember well, was the best move
That's the best
suggested
move.
by
And
the
maybe
engine.
the
Actually,
only
we
really
switched off.
winning move.
We switched off the ending.
It was the winning move?
Yes.
Yeah, there was b5.
It's over
quite
plus
good.
2, as far as I remember.
Now he played rook h4.
But actually, that's why I don't like computer evaluation. Yeah, you said that it's plus 2 according to computer, and if you would not tell me that it's plus 2, I would just say that the position is completely out of
Yeah,
control.
very messy.
I don't know how to evaluate it because it's obvious that black is now out of danger. But why white's supposed to be lost, for example, is far from obvious.
And actually, just to highlight why, Peter, you were saying we want to keep this knight on c4 as much as possible, is now, if queen e1, rook,
Oh, that's a wonderful mate, I see.
not rook, sorry, but
I see, yeah.
king a2, I guess, because king b2, I believe, is dangerous.
Okay.
Of course.
So king e2, and now we are happy to have the knight, which covers d2.
And also after queen f2 check, now we can play knight b2.
Probably we can play knight b2.
And we are
yeah.
still threatening queen h7 mate, and everything is in order.
So this is what makes Hikaru's decision to play queen h5 on move 40 so logical, so natural.
And also with rook h4, he's kicking the queen away from the central square. And I think after queen e4, queen f5, he played queen e2.
Right.
So basically following the plan of stabilizing, yeah? He has an extra piece, that's why I do not feel that he believes that his position is lost. Yeah, his position is definitely no fun now, but...
Actually, we don't know whether queen f5 was the right move.
Yeah, we don't know. We
And
switched
it's
off
good
the
that
engine.
we don't
Yes.
know. It's very good that we don't know, because now we
switched
are in
off,
the equal condition
Yes.
with the players, and otherwise it's simply not fair, because chess might look so simple with the evolution of the computer in such a clear-cut position already, because for computers this is already relatively easy.
So what about b5, which actually white is a piece up, but there are 3 pawns for black. This is not to be underestimated, plus the g7 pawn can be considered more or less doomed in the long term.
Exactly, I mean b5 is clearly the critical move, yeah, because if you move the knight, then rook takes h3,
Check, yeah.
wins another pawn, plus
rook
delivers
b3,
mate,
yeah.
basically,
Yes,
after
yes.
rook b3 check, yeah.
Yes, but you would have to come back to d2, but this is just really not what we want.
Yeah, basically knight d2 should be played, yeah, trying to bring the knight to e4.
Just to show why knight takes e5. Then this happens, in b2,
One more check.
one more check, and the mate is very near.
Or
Well, actually,
winning
we
the
win
queen
the
is
queen.
enough.
Yeah, whatever is winning for black here. So this is no good, and this has to be played. And now we can take a pawn, one more pawn with check.
Basically it looks like you should take, yeah, you don't have other, and then king b2.
Well, now even endings like queen d3 can be well, who knows? Maybe queen takes e5, but even endings are probably favorable for black, since g7 is going to fall.
Of course, no, definitely that black is now in the driving seat, but I mean it doesn't look that obvious, yeah, because yeah, queen d3 seems to allow queen takes e5, but let's see this variation. And the rook
No mate,
sacrifice with queen takes d2 doesn't lead to mate, but can he try to check the rook on h4?
Aha.
But it seems impossible.
And even if he wins the rook, there is no perpetual where white, the black king is going to expect. But still, we can't really take this.
You
this
can't
rook.
really take the rook, yeah.
Not easy. Yeah. e1 is covered, and
Maybe black can play slower.
Yes,
We try
I
to
mean,
kill
he should.
immediately.
But okay, after knight d2, basically rook takes
E3
e3 looks very natural.
What else?
no, it does actually.
Yeah.
And I would say that maybe after king b2, a move like then we give back c4. But maybe that cannot be exploited immediately.
But I want to go knight e4 now. And suddenly with knight e4 I
And
have counterplay suddenly.
Counterplay or
With
strong
knight-
attack maybe.
Yes, okay, you probably can repeat with rook b3, rook a3.
Yeah, but
But
probably
now black already wants
wants
more,
to win.
Yeah.
it's clear.
So this knight e4 idea should be prevented, but can hardly be for the moment. We can't play rook f3. So maybe rook takes a3 is not so.
Yeah, so maybe b5 is not even forced.
Yes, but it's so natural, yeah?
Yes, of course.
It's so natural. On the other hand, one can understand that White's idea might be to bring the knight to e4 anyway, because suddenly it would lock the queen out of the game from f5, and also threaten with knight f6. But yeah,
Yeah, well.
b5 looks.
We get the evaluation chart. So yeah, well, it seems black is better now. Here we have 15, 20, 25. What is this? The last moves or?
To be honest, I don't know
You
what it
understand?
means.
Yeah, I don't really understand either what this 15, this scale means.
Oh, this is impossible.
Anyway,
Maybe half moves.
was it the wrong game? Yeah. No.
Okay.
Aha, all right. So that was not the right game. Still.
We wouldn't believe he's...
Then I feel better because I look like a complete idiot. Not
because he was really
understanding
old.
anything out of it. Yeah.
We saw White was better before.
All the
now
time.
Black is better. Okay, that's the only relation to this game actually.
We should stop immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually this also interests me because maybe now we are waiting for Carson to make a move and it might not be an easy decision. That what happened finally in this Aronian Gelfand
Yes.
game? Did they play a rapid game? And
It
Yes.
seems they did play. We didn't have it here on the screen. It was not displayed, but it was on the internet, I think, and
So
in the
maybe
playing
we
hall
can,
as well.
yeah, we can quickly replay it.
If
But
if
then,
we have the,
but then the audience saw it, or
it seems the audience saw it.
the audience saw it. Yeah?
We are the only ignorant.
No, because actually I'm also very interested to.
We have it here. Right?
Aronian won. Aronian played with black.
Okay, let's just have a look.
So you see it like us. We do discover it. It seems it was some kind of.
Catalan.
Actually, it's the same line that they played in the Blitz game.
Oh really?
Yeah,
You
here
checked
in the
games,
tournament.
yeah.
I checked quickly the games.
At first sight, it seems promising for.
Oh, what?
But what can we say?
Wow, actually, it's a brilliant game. I mean, I don't know about the objective evaluation.
This was a rapid
but-
game then, yeah. So
But
the black seems to have
it
compensation.
feels like the players felt that, okay, we already played today a game, it ended in a draw, and this game does not count for anything, so let's have fun attitude.
93, huh? Oh, wow.
Now, finally, a brilliant victory for Black.
Yes, and taken the rook c1 and...
Yeah, this looks lost now. Yeah, White's pieces are tied. Nothing to be done, really. D1. Yeah, you can't untie this bishop, this rook e1 and this knight b1. So it's just nothing to be done now against things like. Well, the king comes.
Did you resign already?
I think he resigned here.
Yes. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, now we understand that after move 20 something, it
Because
was
although
already.
I would again think that White's the evaluation by the computer was also made on a very short time control since they were moving, so it gives White an advantage thanks to the piece sacrificed by Black. But it's as we could, I mean, the first impression is Black had strong compensation.
Yes.
At least in
it
practice.
was very messy.
Yeah, so
It was a very messy game, but also I think it was very interesting to see how the players react to this situation, because it's the first time in this tournament now that they had to play a rapid game, which is also controversial because after all I think that the game Aronian Gelfand was a very high quality game.
Yes.
Aronian managed to put Gelfand under pressure in the opening, but Gelfand then with very precise moves and extremely good calculation managed to maintain the balance.
It's true.
So it was in fact a great save from Boris, and after this probably he was very delighted. So his psychological situation to play the rapid game was quite strange. He already felt like he did the job. What was his intention for the day?
yes.
And
then he has
suddenly
to suddenly
play a
has to.
new game,
Yeah.
While Levon was slightly disappointed that he blew the advantage and maybe was motivated that, okay, in a
prove
game which
something,
already
yes.
does not matter for anything, I will try to show that I was actually ready to fight very hard today.
Oh, now.
So now this is the chart here, the variation of this game, and we can
Man,
see that White
it
was
goes over the top,
over
just
the
over
roof.
the top.
So White's advantage was over the roof.
Yeah,
but
it feels like stock market or something.
So it
And,
seems
that,
move
and there came the
37.
crash.
Yes, but somehow not in the right direction.
Yeah, crisis around move 37 happened. And now black is better, but I mean the advantage is by no means as big as white's advantage used to be
It's ever been,
before
yeah.
the time control. So we have two new moves, b5, knight d2, which we were analyzing before. So Carlsen went for b5. But now there is this concrete idea by white to put the knight on e4 and then jump to f6. And not only this, but on e4, as you pointed out, Peter, the knight closes the queen or shuts the queen out of the queen side so that white's king might feel a bit more secure.
Yeah, but of course this position is extremely direct, so black might find a strong continuation, and then things might not be so pleasant anymore for white.
Okay, let's try to find something for black. Maybe c4, knight e4, king takes. g7.
c4.
Just before we
Yeah?
get into the
Yeah?
details, I would like to mention that actually that's why chess is one of the cruelest games. I think that it doesn't really matter that for the most of the game Nakamura had this evaluation that he was close to winning. Just one mistake, which we also did not really understand that it was a mistake, turned everything upside down. Imagine in football you are leading 3-0 and there is 10 minutes to go. Basically you just have to shuffle around and you won the match. But in chess, even in so-called completely winning situations, just one small mistake and you might even lose the game. We love this game, but it's quite a cruel game, to be honest.
It's more like tennis. You miss the match point.
Yeah.
And everything.
Yeah, but you
restarts.
miss the match point and then still, basically the match just starts new.
Yes, but psychologically. It's,
Yes, psychologically
yeah,
it's extremely difficult. But here basically you have done for 40 moves everything brilliantly, one mistake and
That's it.
it.
Yes. Yeah, this
Okay.
is a very difficult situation for Nakamura, but I think he's fully digested that, all right, he's blown it, he might be lost, maybe not, but now he has to fight and he has to try and save this game. This is not all over, at least even if the computer shows to you at home that it might be -1, -2 or whatever it is, players don't know about this.
Exactly.
Of
And
course
this
this
is
is
the point.
unpleasant. Of course this is unpleasant. Black is going to take a3 maybe and so on, but you have to find any small chance which is available to try and stay in the game or maybe bounce back in the game, as Carlsen did before. I mean, Carlsen, all right, he didn't play. Well, he played such an opening which was risky, and then Nakamura played brilliantly, and he got a winning position. Still, Carlsen was, I mean, what could he do? He played a few moves and tried to stay as much in the game as possible. And whatever the computer may show you at home that it was +8, +7 for Nakamura, it's still very difficult to find. So,
Especially this variation which we have seen, which the computer highlighted was brilliant.
Queen
but
F1 followed by
it's-
rook takes H7, for instance.
It's
yeah.
totally unhuman.
Yeah,
It will be in the books, the future books.
Definitely.
yeah.
Definitely.
So C4, you were.
Just suggestion.
yeah, C4,
knight e4,
knight
king
e4.
takes, and just
Yeah, this is the problem, that
Tell me
basically
what
this
you do.
knight e4 plan can simply be ignored by capturing a pawn, in fact.
and now you cannot move the knight because of the mating attack.
True. So knight F6 is punished now.
Now it's really made.
Yes, for this reason I would suggest to play king a2. Since you also made a king move, let's make a king move.
Compensate. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
nice.
So,
And okay, I still want knight f6.
so if I make now a perpetual pin, rook d4 or something,
D4.
just trying.
Then knight g3.
Oh yeah.
Okay, it's not the end. You can collect on g5.
Still, I didn't want to.
I understand. You might not have wanted to,
Yes.
but actually
it's
it's not
still
bad.
okay.
Yeah, but it might not be bad because even rook d2 check is threatened.
Yep.
So maybe it just wins. Maybe it just wins. Sometimes it blitz. It happens that you blunder something, but it turns out to be a good blunder.
Yes,
Yeah?
and then you've seen everything it was.
Yes. So. But okay, c4 is also a slightly mysterious move Because if c4, then why not king takes g7 first or whatsoever?
I
yeah?
just don't want to blunder the rook. That's
Yes.
So we repeat again that
Yes,
rook
of course.
takes here, now something like b4, knight e4. Again, well, why not this, yeah?
Why not?
Again. Maybe now there are tricks like queen a6 or things.
Wow, that's spectacular.
Or queen a... Well, I go to a6 because it's far, but I could go to h5 maybe as well.
No, but this is spectacular.
Yes.
And there is no win for black, and if there is no win, then
Yeah, this knight controls many
you
squares.
might fold, yeah, thanks to perpetual. Or even not perpetual, who knows who is better. I mean, okay, rook b3 should...
Yeah.
Rook b3, king c1, you can go.
Oh, f1 is held by the queen.
It's incredible, yeah, that the king is completely empty and there is
It's
simply
better
no way
than queen
to...
h5 then, after all.
Yeah, no way to give
Now
even a
rook
single
c3
check.
maybe still possible, and queen takes g4.
Yes, I mean, rook c3
save.
you have to play, and then probably I should...
Let's see. And you want to take on g5? Right?
Yeah,
I want it.
Yeah, then what else? Yeah.
Yeah, and then you take, and then you are winning probably again.
Masters of pawns.
This is a check. I didn't notice
Yeah,
it was a check.
sorry,
I wanted to
sorry.
play queen c4, and
A quiet move is
for
not
some reason the program didn't allow me to play queen c4 here. Right. Yeah, imagine we're quite
Yes, but
tired
in
by
the-
this commentary, but imagine the players also with all emotions going through.
Yeah, there was a move, so Magnus decided to liquidate into an endgame, which was possible, which was definitely possible, and it should be better for black, definitely. Because now even sometimes the exchange of queens might be
Yeah.
a big threat, since he has way too many pawns.
So he hasn't taken yet on h4, right? Or I don't have this queen h4 yet.
Yeah, maybe he is walking now, I don't know. Because otherwise he would definitely take immediately.
So we can do it.
Yeah, and,
So,
and
one,
this
two,
might be
three.
simply technically winning, yeah? Because queen takes b5
queen d4 check.
can be answered by queen d4 check and
Queen b2
queen b2,
and
king h5 or king take, maybe h5, yeah.
Yeah, just
yeah,
one.
just
as-
walk
as fast, yeah.
walk down the line.
Yeah, and that's it, yeah.
Too many pawns.
Yeah, this is basically the most practical
Approach, yeah, yeah.
decision, yeah, not to calculate all these complicated lines. Carlsen might also feel that there was enough adventure so far, so let's keep it as simple as possible.
So queen d4 is a threat here, in a way. It's very hard to parry. If you play king a2, queen d4 probably anyway.
It's just over. What can you do?
Yeah, you have
Queen
to keep
E2.
queens. Yeah, that's the only chance. But
Queen e2,
queen a2, yeah, maybe h5 again,
or just b4.
b4, yeah. Yeah, I don't want to give c4, but the square. But
What's not much in it, huh?
No, Hikaru played knight e4. This is basically the most logical,
Yes.
trying to activate the knight
and preventing.
and
queen d4.
preventing the change of queens. This has to be played.
Maybe still some drawing chances.
Well, I mean, till the queens are on the board,
Yeah.
there are some small holes, but of course,
Yeah, thanks to the slight vulnerability of the king, he took on g7 now.
Unfortunately, there's no move like knight g3 or knight d6 because of the
Always queen d4.
change. It's a shame.
yeah. So something like queen d5 looks natural, if one can say, but black can play queen f4,
Queen f4.
which is
And after knight takes c5, always the same
still,
story, yeah, probably.
still queen d4.
Yeah.
And even so that the black's pawns are
Yeah, he's far from the knight.
Yes. You can even give 2 checks just to protect e5 first, and then think about covering the pawns. I mean, instead of giving the pawn, just queen d5, 2 checks, and then think.
Checks,
Yes.
like here.
No, on h1 I wanted, and h2 just to protect.
h2.
No, and now we can think
Yeah.
it over.
Yeah, but now you don't have this queen d4 check.
Yeah.
Ah, you mean even after?
If I play queen g1, queen g1, and I come to
Ah, now you.
I haven't given anything.
Yeah.
Mwah. Bad luck.
Seems pretty
Yeah. No,
straightforward.
but imagine how Hikaru feels at this moment, yeah? He
Devastated.
was so close to win this game and win in beautiful style, and now suddenly he's faced with a almost hopeless position. It might be that it is hopeless in general.
Maybe the queen should walk away from far from this queen
Yes.
d4 square, like queen f3 or. Not that it will save the game, but and it also ties the black queen a little bit, although it doesn't really have to move.
Yeah,
You
it
can also
doesn't
play
threaten anything,
b4.
unfortunately. Yeah, also
You can play b4.
it simply does not threaten anything.
Oh, that's too
g3, who knows such things? Yeah, but
dreaming. Yeah.
I'm not really dreaming,
No,
but
I
I'm
agree.
hoping.
Finally an attack.
Yeah. Maybe queen f3.
Maybe
knows?
queen f3 is the best, yeah.
After queen f4.
But it
I
looks,
know.
of course, pretty hopeless. Yeah, queen
Does,
f4,
yeah.
then queen g2
G2,
check,
yeah, that was my idea.
king f8 should be played. And unfortunately for white, he really needs a pawn on b2. Yeah, if this pawn instead of a3 would be in b2, covering his king, there would be some
We have a
hope.
move.
Yeah, it's queen f3.
So queen f4. Can he, for once, take that one, or is this too optimistic?
Take it, yeah?
Yeah, just try and take on c5 and hope for the best.
But expect the worst.
Yes.
No,
Or
this
maybe
is
just
completely
take
lost
it.
because
Yeah,
at
you're-
the end even b4
B4
will
is
be
the
a
killer,
breakthrough.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just bad luck.
Even if you manage to block the other pawns, which I seriously doubt, but
No, it's just over.
even that would not be enough.
So as we say, it's a matter of technique now, mostly for Carlsen. The only thing he has to be careful about is not to allow checks and not to allow white's queen to become active, threatening. We know how queen and knight can cooperate quite well like, in some mating attacks, or at least threats against the king, but this is the only thing he has really to worry about in this game. So we will maybe have a short review of this game for spectators who joined us in the course of the game and did not follow the entire action.
The drama.
It all started out in a Nimzo Indian where Nakamura played f3 and Carlsen reacted differently from what he had done in the World Championship match. Here he played this line with e5 to have an active bishop on c5.
But in the meanwhile, giving up the center, yes, so it is a very risky line.
Double-edged very much. He also gave up the two bishops, but reached some black square control. And there, after knight e2, he decided on c5, which was basically cements the bishop on d4, but also closes the center and gives white a strong passed pawn, which is not too important now, but also free hands on the king side to attack. And this is exactly what Nakamura did. Well, black's attack on its part of the board on the queen side is by far not as menacing. So Carlsen played a5 to
Well,
have.
basically, I think that Black's play is purely positional, purely strategical. He does not even want to attack. All this rook a6 is also more of a defensive move to cover the sixth rank and to secure the f6 knight. And if Black gets the knight to d6, then he might hope hope for good counterplay on the queen side.
This is indeed what Carlsen intended or tried to do in the coming moves, but he was too slow.
Exactly, it's quite time consuming, all this, because he needs to prepare so many things.
And h4, then Nakamura already started launching his own attack.
Yeah, and by now it was clear to all of us here that White's
Yeah.
position is very promising and Black is facing probably serious problems.
And Nakamura led the attack in a brilliant and very textbook-like fashion. Rook h2, Queen a5. There he prevented some things with it. By dropping back the bishop, he also prepared g5. The bishop was maybe in the way on this square. And as you said, the knight is trying to come to d6, but this is maybe he was missing just a move with black. So
He was missing a move, yeah, exactly.
was not
This rook
entirely-
would not be on f8, then he would always have knight f8 protecting the h7 pawn once the h file was threatening to open up. But somehow he was just one tempi short.
Rook b3 and Queen g4 to be able to come to h4. Now again we made sure that knight d6 came one move too late, and Carlsen understood that too. He played knight b6, bishop e2, very good move. Knight d6, rook dh1.
Here already computer showed
Apparently,
that there was maybe some mischance, but this rook dh1 is so natural and it's such a good move that, I mean, this way,
It's hard to come down this move.
yeah.
And here also it's hard to see the reason why.
Why this is not winning.
Yeah, what could black do here? Might have been some kind of secret defense, but hard to see how, because the opening of the h-file is imminent and crushing apparently. So, while Carlsen thought so as well, and he decided to play bishop takes b2 now,
Yeah, it was kind of last chance to complicate matters.
which actually succeeded eventually. In this position, h takes g6. There is no direct mating threat for white, so queen b6 is possible for black. And here he played g7, whereas g takes f7 was possible too. Apparently it was winning too, but g7 is also very strong.
Yeah, basically G7 is in the spirit because he really wants to deliver checkmate, and G takes F7 check was probably leading to some endgame, which was very promising for white. But okay, if you have the chance to play G7, you actually don't want to miss out.
Yeah, especially since you don't see how black is going to defend his position. But there were some possibility just to stay more or less alive. Well, not to lose at once here. He eventually took on b2, king a1. This is standard reaction. He swapped to rook and queen g6. These are these moves, like queen g6 forced to defend.
Yeah, and
now.
this was the moment when we thought that Magnus' position looks
Totally
completely
lost.
hopeless. Yeah.
After knight f5, so many threats. And here, rook e8, queen g4, queen b6, otherwise, of course, rook h6. So queen b6 to try and get some counterplay. Queen h3, forcing queen g6, and in this moment there was a forced win, maybe more than one forced win. But queen f1 seems to be the killer here. The knight is threatened, and if you play b5, well, white needs to see this beautiful resource.
This is incredible because actually white was trying to deliver mate on h7, and exactly now when it's double defended and there are no more almost no more attacking pieces left, then suddenly rook takes h7 is a winning move. This is actually easy to find if it's in the books and it's written white to move and white wins. Then okay, just you look and you see that there is no other move, you will find rook takes h7, but during a game nobody tells you. And also the point was that this queen f1 move was psychologically very difficult because you retreat a piece which is basically about to deliver mate. It's just really incredible.
Yeah, because we were trying to move the queen somewhere in order to play rook h6 and win the queen.
Yes.
And here you play queen f1, not at all with this idea, since after b5, rook h6, g5 is dropping. Now the idea is to sacrifice on h7.
Yes. Fantastic.
So it's hard to blame Nakamura for not seeing this. It seems queen d3 was maybe winning as well, although it's very also difficult. to the human eye to understand this. And we actually also believe that d6 here or with the queen on h4, 2 moves before,
Maybe
is
with
winning.
the queen on h4 it's easier because e4 is covered.
Yeah, but
E4
there are
and
some other
G5.
problems. Then the e6 square or something might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it seems d6 doesn't win here for black, for white, sorry. Knight takes d6, of course the black queen cannot take, but rook d8 and...
Now this is the crucial moment.
Well, it's not really, I think,
No, I mean the
because...
second one. I mean you have to recover
Yeah.
and find some incredible...
Well,
Yeah, but here he still did not realize that he blew it.
We
It was
didn't
still,
either.
yeah, exactly. It was still the way he planned, and I think he thought that after knight c4 the game is over.
Well,
Or
from
practically over.
afar, to be honest, from afar when we discussed d6 and thought it's winning, here I thought after rook d8 just knight f5 and it's over because Fred are still... But this is a mate after knight f5. I mean a mate for black, not for white. Starting with rook d1 and the queen is able to join the party with queen b6 check or queen e6 check if the king goes to a2, so basically... And when knight c4 came, suddenly I wondered, okay, queen takes e4, why is it winning? And we switched on the engine for the first time in this game and noticed that black is actually doing great again. Queen takes e4 happened, and here, well, there might have been some engine resources to hold the balance, but again, especially on move 40 for Nakamura.
Yeah, this was
the clock
also very
ticking.
unlucky for him, that if this is move 41, he can calm down and spend half an hour, then he might have understood all the nuances of the position, but he only had 6 minutes at this point, and
Yeah.
it was just the moment when things were turning, so it was extremely...
Yeah, to find knight e3, which apparently maintain the balance, is very hard.
Unlucky for
Maybe
him.
probably even with half an hour, I mean, and it's very hard to find knight e3.
Okay, but then you kind of finally, by
Yeah.
method of elimination, might understand that everything else loses, and this might be my best chance, and things like this. But with 6 minutes, of course, he had no time to really get into the details of the position.
So this is what happened, and soon, well, no attack, of course, on the h file anymore. The pawn on g7 is ripe. Knight d2, and here he decided to exchange rooks. I mean Carlsen. Intending to exchange queens because he's, in the meantime, he's like 4 pawns for the piece plus g7 dropping, so white needs to keep queens on queen f4. So we have a few more moves now. Queen takes f4, e takes f4. He played that, yeah. So
No, he did not take on
this is our analysis. Sorry, this is our former analysis.
He did
So-
not take.
No, of course, Queen G2.
Yeah,
check
we
was-
actually thought it was lost. Queen g2 check, king f8. 5 pawns for the piece, of course, this is a lot. But queens are still on the board, so white has slim hopes
Yeah,
of
this is his
swindle.
only. Yeah, exactly. This is his only chance. If
We
black
can-
managed to change queens, even if he has to sacrifice 1 pawn,
He will
it's
probably do it, yeah.
maybe even 2 sometimes. But
As we saw in this line, white could have taken breaking the structure in a way, although this doesn't really mean anything here. It takes back one of the pawns, but these pawns here are very, very
yeah, and in
dangerous.
the reserve there is also when the king
They're
walks over to
very
the king
unlucky.
side, which is also there is probably no time for it. But then black breaks through with b4 and a3. So
that's why he kept queens and now played king b2. Well, it looks like, well, Nakamura is obviously very disappointed. We saw him shake his head at several occasions, but obviously psychologically now he has kind of come to terms with this situation, new situation, that now obviously he's lost and he needs to use his smallest chances to try and cause troubles to his opponent. I mean, technically, it is not completely
What
lost.
does he do after h5? Just, I mean, what's the last chance here?
no, I don't think there is any last chance. There is just hope for some miracle.
Because you cannot move this knight. Huh? It's
Yeah,
beautiful
everything
that
is
where
tied
it is.
down.
yeah.
Yeah, everything is tied down. Okay, maybe king c2, just to step out of this queen b4 check.
There's another
h4
check.
and now maybe knight d6. Okay,
Yes.
just last. I couldn't even find the word because it's not last attack or not last attempt or whatever. But
Kind of
okay.
last tricks like this, yeah? Queen A8 and knight F5.
And
Yes.
win.
But of course, black has, for example, king e7.
King E7
maybe,
looks like a good technical move.
and then queen d5.
Yeah, Queen D5 doesn't seem to be any.
But there should be a way to change queens now for sure.
On which square?
On B3 or D4.
Or D4.
D4.
Right.
Queen F2 stopping.
But actually, also one of the problems was that nothing was really
He's played
threatening.
H5. He's played
Only
H5.
part of queen takes c5, but that was also no real threat.
This forces
This
the
is-
exchange of queens.
That's
now.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then queen b3.
So maybe we need to go somewhere like this. Well, anyway, it's clear that.
Yeah, this is lost.
But still, some care is needed because now we have counter threats.
Yeah.
This is now the
Yeah.
position in the game. And now King C2 was your suggestion,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, because
It's
okay,
logical.
without knight d6, there is
Yes,
no.
but let's say King C2, King E7. Just stop.
Okay, but then I'm playing knight c3.
Yes, another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because suddenly if I can
Yes, yeah,
get
you-
some harmony between my queen and knight, then some things, some chances might
Yeah.
appear. Some chances might appear. So
So what's he gonna do after King C2?
King C2 is our first bet.
If you just go B4, what's going on?
okay, probably a takes b4, cb, king d3. I want to protect my knight with the king so that my queen might be free. I don't know, however,
Yes, but
where to activate.
F5 and wait.
Maybe F5, yeah?
Yeah, F5 and that's it, yeah. And I design. Instead of activating anything, yeah. No, okay, there are simply way too many pawns. Yeah. No, it looks like a pretty hopeless situation. But I'm still not 100% sure that black really wants to push his queen side pawns.
No.
This is psychologically somehow much more logical to push h. You played h5, you want to keep on pushing it with h4.
I just wanted to stop your nice attack with
Yes.
centralization. Knight D6, Queen D5.
Yeah, in fact, king c2, b4 looks like a killer. Because again, I cannot move my knight. You will.
All kind
will
of
win
checks
it,
as
yeah.
soon as.
Yeah, this is the moment what they say. There is nowhere to run. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter what you try, it does not work.
Simply too many pawns. Yeah? Once the H pawn moves, then B pawn moves, and when you play King D3, suddenly F5 is coming, which you don't really expect because the king on F8, well, is happy to have a shelter.
Actually, white has no threat even here.
No, no. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
if-
definitely
If you
not.
just play
So
H4,
play A3 or H4 or something.
Yeah, no, I'm completely tied down.
Yeah, actually.
No, of course, extremely sad moment for Nakamura. He's a big fighter. He's trying to find a way to hang on, to pose some problems, but simply the position is.
Yeah, and he played such a fantastic game. I mean, until move 36 and even 7, D6 looks winning. It's not. It's bad luck, but he played such in a brilliant way and attacking. I mean, we feel pity for him because he deserved the win fully. And
Yeah, he deserved the win here. Definitely deserved. But on the other hand, Magnus also didn't really deserve to lose,
Well,
because we could not even highlight where he went wrong. It was
Probably,
simply that
yeah.
this opening choice
The wall
was
strategy.
very interesting, very spectacular, but somehow maybe it was not healthy.
Yeah, too risky positional wise.
Yes.
Yes. And finally, it was also much easier to handle with white, yeah, because all the moves came
Quite easily.
quite
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah. Actually,
But
H4,
many times
H5.
this is how chess tournaments are played. If we remember yesterday's game, after the opening Anand Nakamura, it looked like Anand has a very safe advantage where if he plays normally, then Black will have a very hard time. And what happened? Nakamura won that game. So sometimes the logical results does not always happen the way it happens. Yeah? So I cannot say that yesterday Nakamura was lucky, because finally it was lucky that the piece sacrifice was so strong. Yeah, this was his luck moment, but in general afterwards he played a fantastic game.
True. Yeah.
So it was more like it was vicious mistake to let this happen. But today he was, of course,
Yeah. much
about
more.
to win.
Yes.
Yeah, he was about to win.
Yeah, but you were right to mention earlier that chess is very cruel, a
Yes.
very cruel game.
And also, I mean, for example, Nakamura already won the game yesterday, so it's quite normal that he thinks only about the future games, and exactly the game which, I mean, if he would have won this game against Magnus, would have put him on +2.
Yeah.
And fantastic feeling, yeah, to deliver such a checkmate to the reigning world champion #1. So it's a really
And stop Marcus
Painful.
from winning the tournament. I mean, now.
well. There is no guarantee for
Not
that.
yet. I
No,
mean,
but he
we
could
remember
have
so
stopped.
many tournaments
Yes,
when
but-
he seemed and in his finish was so
Yes, but there's
fantastic
not
in
more
many.
than +2 in it after.
Yeah, but there
losing
is still
that
the
one.
rapid tournament as well, where he
Oh, yeah.
can.
No,
But,
okay.
I mean, if you
No, and
finish at
also the
+1,
players, because here 6 incredible strong players are happening. So basically, anybody is capable of beating anyone. So even if you get to +2, it does not guarantee that the remaining games you will not lose. And that's why one cannot really think like this, that if Nakamura would have won this game, then he would have won the tournament. Definitely he would have been in a very good position. But now situation is completely different.
yeah, I could see Nakamura. Yeah, you can see he's
Shaking
obviously
his head,
still
yeah.
very disappointed. Of course, he would like to find resources, find at least one idea which might allow him to kind of trick his opponent, but probably he doesn't even find one. He was so close. This actually does not happen too often. I mean, that someone is winning like this, and I mean at this level. I mean, I'm not speaking at my level, because this is one of my main diseases in chess. But at his level, to have such a winning position and not win it, and even maybe lose it,
And after all, it was not such a time scramble.
not such big.
Yeah,
no,
because
it was
basically he was in a
10,
comfort
20 minutes
situation.
for
He had
some
enough
moves.
because, okay, we have seen Ivanchuk games when he has
Yes.
maybe
And good
20
shot.
seconds for 20 moves. And, okay, you are winning, but basically you have 1 second per move to make, and then really anything can happen. But here, 10 minutes for 2 or 3 moves in a winning position is usually more than enough. But it shows how difficult it was to find the final winning.
Yeah, actually
No.
it looked so much more winning than it was in fact. I mean, in view of that, these natural moves which we're looking at and we thought were winning were not, like d6. And you need to find some hidden resources. This queen f1 who takes h7 is one example. And the other moves were not easy at all, so it was very hard to pinpoint a very easy way to win. Still, for players of this caliber, it's well. I mean, you should win it in a way. I mean, it happens to Nakamura maybe once or twice in a year that something like this happens,
Yes.
or maybe not even.
But then the question might appear: why exactly against Magnus?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean this is incredible. Like also Magnus has 7 lives, or I don't know. Yeah, that he's hardly losing any game. I even don't know when he lost his last game. and not too often he gets into really bad positions, but he still gets them, and somehow he always escapes. I mean, also against Kramnik, he had already so many times such positions, and type of advantage for Kramnik where you would say that Kramnik is the best player in the world to convert such advantage, and how many times we have seen that finally the game finished in a draw. So it's really amazing that how he manages to save the games.
Yeah, if you're lucky so many times, it's not luck anymore, right?
Exactly, no, definitely. And why exactly against you it happens? Yeah, it's.
Yeah, actually, you need, if you want to beat Carlsen, you don't need just a winning position. You need to beat him every move, and every move needs to be the most accurate, the most cunning, and this is what makes this task actually so complicated.
Yeah, and only once your opponent resigns, the game is over. Yeah, just a winning position doesn't help in this sense.
So Nakamura,
Always
yeah,
desperate.
yes.
It's just
Now
desperate.
he's probably, you know, you think about lines, you calculate variations, then you notice nothing helps actually, and then you go back to move 35 or somewhere, and you say, oh my God, how the hell could I not win this? How the hell could I end up in such a nightmare? And
yeah, and then the emotions are taking over.
I don't know if you happen to dream about chess, Peter, but what happens sometimes to me is that I'm playing a game, and I might have a normal position, and suddenly, well, maybe I might walk away from the board and later come back, and the position has changed completely when I was walking away. And while I had a good position, suddenly someone removed a piece from my board, or my king is going to be mated, and I wonder, how could it be?
But this you see in your dreams?
And that sometimes it happens in my dreams. Well, probably Nakamura has such a feeling now. Someone came in between. I didn't move. It was not me. Someone came and destroyed my winning advantage, my position.
Yeah, but actually it's nice to hear that it seems other people also have problems falling asleep after losing. Yeah? But usually it happens to me also after I miss a chance, and then it's very difficult to calm down because it just really, you take it so personal. I mean, the win was there, and how I could not win, and then basically doesn't matter when you go to bed. It's clear that till 5 or 6 a.m. you will not fall asleep. That's guaranteed. And you already know it. And then you are turning, twisting around in your bed, and all the lines are coming back, and you see all the winning moves, of course. But it's already too late. And you know that next day you have to play again. This is incredibly tough. And that's why many times one game which you were about to win, you lose, might actually influence the future outcome of the tournament as well. So one has to be extremely strong psychologically to handle such situations.
Well, these dreams of mine did not really happen in relationship with a bad result. It just happened once or twice, that something like this, you know, you're sitting and suddenly, well, this is not the position I had before. Something happened, it was completely upside down.
Yeah, but in this case, maybe your situation is even more serious than mine. Yeah?
No, I'm not blaming it, in the contrary.
No, I mean, but it's nice to hear, you know,
We
because
should all see the shrink, I think.
You know, I've lost so many games in such fashion as Nakamura that now I'm kind of immune to this. So if this happens, okay, after the game I am angry and so on, but this will not really affect my sleep.
okay, then you are lucky in
Maybe
this.
maybe 20 years ago, but now it's happened many times. So it's not really this which will prevent me from sleeping. What might do actually is the heat of a certain game, whether I won it or lost. Let's say it was a beautiful game and there were a lot of positive emotions. I might think about them before falling asleep, and this might preventing me sometimes from falling asleep immediately or quickly. But rarely losing a game did upset my sleep. On the other hand, I do have crazy dreams like the one I described. Well,
Yeah, you are trying to balance the situation. Yeah, chess players have so many things to take care of. I mean, it looks like for the outside world that we are just moving pieces and it's so easy, and basically also the Hollywood movies give the impression that a genius is born genius and he doesn't really have to do anything. He's so lucky that he was born like this, and all he has to do is just collect the points and become world champion.
Yes, and he never works on it.
Yeah, exactly. And in reality, it's a completely different scenario. And actually, exactly because of this, I'm a little bit angry with all those movies. Yeah, because why do you have to give a completely wrong picture? I mean, at least try to give a decent picture. I don't say that you can manage to do this, because this is maybe impossible, but at least to try.
Yes, but maybe they just don't understand the nature of chess. Or don't want to.
Maybe even if they understand it, they fully grasp that if you want to sell, well, you need to depict the chess player as a crazy maniac or
some
whatever,
political
psychopath,
story,
or political background, of course, is also important. But if you don't have the crazy, the nutcase who is a genius but also so totally crazy, and he might kill people. What was it? This Night Moves, the movie, I think, Night Moves, or
Yeah,
something.
that was nice.
Anyway, a world champion is not allowed to be a normal person.
No. And, well, you won't sell, actually. Chess doesn't sell. It's in a way, it's a bit too complicated for the white audience. If you just show chess as it is normally and try to explain the depth, well, people will get bored unless you are interested in chess.
Yeah, but actually,
exactly
that's why also this chess in schools program is so important. Yeah, because if already kids learn the rules in school while they are very young, then their interest can grow, and even if they are not becoming chess players in the future, they will be able to follow the games and understand that these chess games are actually full of life. It's much more behind it than somebody would think of, who did not even get in touch with chess.
This is the exact picture which was, or exactly the exact situation which was in the Soviet times. People knew how to play chess because chess was taught by, or actually very, very popular. It was made popular by the regime, the political regime. So people had an interest in chess because this might improve your situation in life, social situation. So you had a motivation to learn chess. Here in our countries, Western countries, you don't have. So unless we do these programs, chess in school, as Kasparov is trying to promote nowadays, and he's not the only one, of course. Well, unless you do this, then the interest, the general interest of the population will remain very low. And
so the worst country is Switzerland, we have to admit, because
I'm
the
afraid
high
it
standard of
is.
living means that the social, it's not interesting. It's just not too much money in it. So.
no, you can't imagine how many times I have been asked, even in the chess world by amateurs, but can you live from chess?
Yes.
How is it, can you live from chess?
They don't ask that to Roger Federer. They
No,
don't.
I'm not sure they do. And, well, the answer is yes, and I explain that this, and then, oh, yeah, but still it's not easy. And even young chess players are afraid to try and become a chess professional because they understand that being a mathematics professor or anything else will probably earn them a better living. And why to put so many efforts to end up in situations like Nakamura, where you are winning and suddenly you get crushed, and why to do this? Why to inflict these pains to yourself while you can sit in your office and, well, you have to work also, but then you easily collect your money at the end of every month. It's really, yeah, these questions are completely justified. I understand them.
And also I think that the competition in chess, I mean, simply also there are so many very strong players. So even if you devote all your life to chess, you are extremely talented. There is simply no guarantee that you will really make it even to the top 100, because the other players are also extremely talented and they are also hard workers.
Yep.
And basically, let's be realistic, you really have to be among the top 10, top 20 in chess to make a really good,
Yeah, of course.
to have a really good, stable situation. So, chess is a very huge challenge. I mean, really a very huge challenge. And now also I think maybe the chess world has never been so strong as now, because we see that there are so many generations joining in. Now, thanks to the computer and the fast development, already very talented kids with 16, 17 can already play on very, very high level. At the same time, the players who are over 40 have the high class, and they are still there among the very, very best. So basically, if we see this almost like a 25 years of range, or even more, like 30 years of range is there, and simply so difficult to get in. There is simply no place for everyone to be in the top 20.
Yeah.
Because there are like 30 or 40 players who actually would have the right to be among the top 20, but simply there is not enough
There are
seats.
too many generations still in the list.
Exactly.
Like Sampras still playing, even Borg still playing in tennis. But
Well,
they're
and
not in the
Federer is
list.
still playing. I mean, he's already a veteran.
Yes, but I
almost
mean,
at
in
tennis.
chess you have everybody. Korchnoi was there for 60 years
Yeah,
or more.
yeah, that's true.
Gelfand and Anand are still there on
And they stay for a
45,
while.
yeah.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, Gelfand just played the World Championship 2 years ago. Vichy just lost the title last year, so after defending the title 4 times and things like this, so it's just incredible, yeah.
Yep. No, and actually, one thing which we have to remember also when you are a chess player, and also for people who are not chess player, but we actually don't play chess just for money. Just like Federer, of course, he's super rich and super famous and whatever, but he still plays tennis not for the money. He doesn't care. He has so much. But he plays because he loves it. And this is also what we do. Even though financially it's not as good as Federer, but still, we do it because we love it, especially because we love it. And this is even more valid in chess, because we are not, except, as you said, the first 20 or 10, or depending on the country where you are, but you are not going to be rich by playing chess, unless, except, as you said, Carlsen or so on. But even then, I
The
mean, Carlsen
motivation is
just
different. Yeah.
fully enjoys what he's doing.
Yes. But we can be sure that right now Nakamura is not enjoying.
No, but he stays with the game. I tell you.
Yeah, he definitely stays with the game. He has played a fantastic
Maybe we like
game.
to suffer sometimes. We need that.
And actually, we go a bit off track from the game,
Yes,
because
because
Nakamura is actually still
Yes, yes.
thinking. He's down to 13 minutes. Now he's been thinking for maybe not quite half an hour, but at least 20 minutes since H5 was played. Yeah, what can he do? We have gone
Yeah,
through...
he spent 22 minutes.
22. Yeah, this was just the screen of the computer was...
And still shakes his hand.
Yes. Well, this is...
Yeah,
this is
because he
constant.
also slowly has to gather himself with the thought that he's not going to save this game. Because I think after move 40, he was very professional, and he gathered all his strengths. He put all his energy in order to try to find chances and try to save the game. And after move 48, I think he understands that all his chances of saving the game are vanishing. So this is a very, very dramatic moment. So
And
that's why
he's-
he's also not making the move. Yeah?
Yeah, and he knows that in front of him it's Magnus, and he had his chance, he spoiled it, and Magnus is not such an average grandmaster who might still let the advantage, the winning advantage,
Slip away,
slip. Yeah, I mean, at converting advantages, Carlsen is also probably the best in the world, and even at converting equal position into a win, he's one of the best. He's probably the best. So 12 minutes, so it's running down. And the more he thinks, the closer a decision comes to us, of course, as well.
So what can we try with white? Knight c3 or what
We can only try to wait for his move to come. It might be also an idea for him to go down to a few minutes and start blitzing a bit. Although I doubt that this will upset Carlsen, I mean upset his technique. We might actually make a very short break, and since Hikaru seems to grab his head in his hands once again, and we'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes to...
Or sooner if he resigns.
Oh, sooner, but it doesn't seem he will resign. He will play a few more moves probably. and we will be back very soon for the end of the action here in Zurich. So please stay tuned, we'll be back very soon. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the finish of this game of the third round of the Zurich Chess Challenge 2014. Werner, we had the pleasure and the honor to have Peter Leko with us. He left us here understanding that this game is basically over. Magnus Carlsen is going to take the full point in this game, in this crazy game. Of course, we would like to thank him. And he was of great help, and his explanations are always extremely instructive and entertaining.
His modesty is incredible.
Of course.
We all wanted to win the same way as he did.
Yeah.
And we missed out on the real win.
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course, yeah.
And
so a few moves have been played since we left you for a break, because Nakamura also took a break in this game by thinking for almost half an hour at this point, and he moved knight d2, and interestingly enough, Carlsen didn't really took too much time to think here. He moved h4, king c2, and played b4 now. So he actually gives back one of these pawns. He has 5 of them for a wall for a knight. So this is of course a bunch of pawns. King g7, queen takes a4, h3. Queen b3, and I can see he just moved the pawn down to h2. And queen d5 has been played now by Nakamura, who is down to 2 minutes. So we would like to remind you that there is no 30 seconds increment per move until move 60, or until at least the 6th hour of play. So he's down to 2 minutes for a few moves now to complete. But
let's check the obvious move e4. Just
the obvious move e4 seems to make a queen soon. So, well, what to do?
You have a check.
He can also go to g5, but then e3
to h5 maybe.
Sorry, h5, and then, but also this maybe king g8.
I wanted to play queen. Oh no, queen f6 maybe is not so easy, and then queen g6.
What do you mean, queen f6?
Earlier, yes, but
right,
there's taking, and knight takes e4. Still losing maybe.
Right, probably still losing, but it's probably easier to
just
the queen can hardly come back and defend this, and you can give a check, of course, but king h7 seems to white runs out of checks here.
So if he takes first on e4, let's just check. No,
You mean
e4, knight takes, and queen.
Can we play this?
Yes, just try queen, and queen d4 checks some tricks to end up in king g6
6 or something.
even f6. Yeah, it's just hopeless.
So we are expecting e4, but there might be other ways to.
Somehow we suffer with him, with Naka.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, it's very cruel. Peter Leko mentioned this. Chess can be very, very cruel, and this is one of those situations. Because Nakamura played a brilliant game and deserves the. Well, he got a winning position around move 35, and then he played normal moves which seemed to win actually normally, and suddenly Carlsen was back in control. So e4, yes, e4 has been played. Queen h5. Which I thought, could be, but of course it is very, very...
With no threat whatsoever.
No, and I believe e3 now is still something after e3. He's obviously seen it. I think Carlsen has calculated through to win here. The pawns are much too strong. Knight f3, e2 probably. Maybe. I guess e2 is good here, although there might be king d3 still. I don't know, e2. Yeah.
If he does it, it's all right.
He's seen it all, of course. So king d3.
Queen takes f3.
Oh, queen takes f3 and knight, yeah?
Yes, that's what's going to happen. Huh?
Easier than pawn. Than queen.
A straight end.
Yes. Yeah, basically it's over. King d3 might still be the last hope. I mean, you give up the knight and still going to check a few times with the queen, but no, there's an under promotion into a knight. And 1 minute and 10 seconds now for Nakamura. Just a few moves to make.
No escape, just no
No escape. It's been like this for a while, but actually Peter Lecco said that Nakamura reacted to this change of situation totally professionally, because after move 40 he gathered himself, he understood the situation, what to do, and he tried to find his best chances, but it's against Carlsen.
He fights on, huh?
Yes, King B3. So he wants to take this pawn. Well, his hope is that after Queen takes F3, there will be a perpetual.
Yes.
Maybe immediately, but immediately this won't be the case, so he needs to take. Yes, now it's a queen, of course, and maybe check, or check here, and then take on H1.
Yeah, still,
well,
some life in it.
what can we say? Seems to be lost, of course.
Yeah, but frankly,
And the B pawn is running, so.
Carlsen doesn't want the queen hanging, really. There must be some direct...
No, Carlsen will certainly try to find another way here, a more direct way. This could be Queen G3.
That's what I'm thinking about.
But then King takes B4.
Yes, B4. Still not over.
But when you take on F3, then E1 check. So actually, that's a small difference. Which
so he would need to play, yeah. He would need to give the check on G5, but
this is just 2 checks actually, and no more check.
Yeah.
No stalemate, I guess, either.
So the check on E3 seems quite clever. So
check on E3 even. I was thinking about Queen G3, but check on E3 maybe as well quite.
Forcing events, huh?
Yeah.
But he can go King A4 if
now
he,
check.
yeah. Even worse, huh?
Yeah, because you
and another
make
queen.
another queen, whatever you do now. Well, I guess the black king will escape. Actually, we can first also bring back this queen there and check.
We don't need to analyze this.
No. Okay.
Seriously, it's only check. Huh?
Yeah, check.
So let's look at King A4. Is there? No, Queen E3 check?
Sorry.
King A4.
And after Queen E8, we go back. Well, of course, it's completely winning. But it's, Carlsen now takes some time. He wants to. I mean, he earlier calculated up to this point, and I mean, when you can push pawns and nothing happens, then you do it.
He's so King D3, of course.
Yeah. So after King B3 now, probably he's going to calculate through.
Actually, even here, Nakamura still puts up some resistance, huh?
Well, this is a trademark of such players, high class. I mean, even though the position is totally hopeless and resignation is going to happen soon, but even then you try to find and fight and but actually this queen, I liked queen G3 maybe a bit more, because now if you go, I mean, I'm threatening to queen because this is pins.
So king A4.
But now I push.
I like
King A3 still. Yeah.
Some technical problems.
Yeah, well, you need to calculate a few lines and then it's done. But
I'm sure he finds an elegant solution.
Yeah. First, he will look after a solution.
Yes.
For a solution, and if he sees 2, then he will probably choose the more elegant one. But
I mean, the clear. He doesn't want a queen ending.
yeah, unless he can keep the pawn on H2, as we had in a few lines. Well, the queen on H5, we often say in queen endings you should centralize your queen, but if the white queen were centralized now, it would really enable black to exchange queens. While on H5 it's hidden a bit there, So it's not easy to imagine checks on g6 from the queen. So in this sense, it's this is what I mean by looking for chances. You don't allow your opponent to exchange queens so easily. So we are going to make a sum up of what is going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow we have, of course, another exciting round ahead of us. So we have Gelfand against Anand. These two players have been struggling a little bit. Gelfand is a -1. He has made 2 draws and lost 1 point, so he has 2 points out of 6.
Yes, and Anand felt slightly recovered today.
He recovered after losing the first 2 games today. He had to play a good game. He did play a good game. And, well, eventful game. In the end, the balance was not destroyed. So he made a draw against Caruana. So this is going to be the game between the bottom 2. But let's not forget that these two faced each other 2 years ago in the World Championship final.
Yeah.
We are going to have a game between the 2 Carlsen and Caruana.
The 2 youngest?
The 2 youngest players in this tournament. And Caruana has 3 points. He made 3 draws. All games were very interesting and tense. Carlsen has 3 out of 4, so this game is still going on, and we believe he's going to win it, so he's going to be the leader in this tournament. But his score against Caruana, even though positive, is not completely clean, since he has lost a few games. He has also lost a game with White last year, I think, against Caruana.
The first Blitz game.
And he also lost the Blitz game against Caruana, it's true. So
Caruana is very hard to beat.
It's not, yeah, of course. And as I think Jan Timman pointed out before, he is a very classical player also, despite his age. And the third game, also very exciting, Aronian against Nakamura. It has to be said that Nakamura has a tremendously bad score against Aronian, especially with black.
And he has to digest today's game.
He's probably lost the 3 or 4 last games he played against Aronian as black, including a few weeks ago in Lycan-Z, in a King's Indian, in a very quiet King's Indian. So tomorrow, yes, indeed, he has to digest the disappointing game of today's. And we have a move. We have a move. Carlsen played f6. This is a move which is not easy to anticipate for Nakamura. That's why he took about 30 seconds to play knight e1 here.
He has just 20 seconds left for one move.
Yeah. So does queen e1 finish off the game?
I'm afraid
Let's say king a4. Let's say queen takes e1, because now there are not 100 checks, you know? Or maybe there are. Well, if you want to prevent.
This is not completely clear, huh? Queen takes f6. Why do
Maybe
you
go
escape?
back, yeah.
One, then there is king h3, queen g3.
Well,
We've seen everything, huh?
I'm not sure.
I mean,
It should be lost somewhere, of course, but this is not, yeah.
So, let's go back to the situation.
He's played king a4. By the way, he's reached move 60. So time control, well, after Carlsen's move, the time control will be reached. So that he gains 15 minutes, additional minutes here to think. So we have a move, actually, queen g1. He's not taken the knight. He keeps the queen on the g file to cover his king from checks.
And he's gonna queen.
And this pawn seems to be actually
this is the killer.
close to queening. So we might not even witness a 61st move in this game.
Yes. Looks resignable. Huh?
It looks resignable, because even if the white king were able to give a check from here, then the black king would always be able to find some shelter. Let's say something like king h3, queen h3, sorry. Queen here, queen d7, and now something like this.
And queen g5
and it's over.
back.
Yeah, I think Nakamura is going to resign. It looks like Nakamura is going to resign.
Let's hope he's going to talk to us. Huh?
Well, I would really understand if
Yeah, if
he
he just-
simply goes, because losing such a game which was so brilliantly played until move 35. I mean, you really want to go ahead and.
So he played queen.
and
He played queen takes e2 actually.
he played a move, right?
Okay.
Sorry. He took on e2 exactly. So yeah, that's basically what. If nothing.
He could even first give the check on a7.
To stop.
Even
Yeah,
that.
this is even very more clever indeed. And let's say he takes this pawn.
So impossible to make a
And now
perpetual.
queen. Yeah. So he has this check now, but that's about it, isn't it? I believe.
Well, king f7.
King f7, one or two more checks, but well, maybe some more checks. Yeah, so
How
queen
about,
a7.
no, king e7. What's
Ah,
your
just
next?
to
What's
e7,
your
yeah.
next? I mean, queen e2.
No more next,
Not
yeah.
really. Yeah.
Queen a7. This is the move played by Carlsen immediately after he came back
Okay.
to the board.
Okay, he did it.
Yeah, he did play it. So
So now he resigns.
well, he can. He doesn't really have options. He needs to take this pawn, or resign.
Because otherwise there's the,
Yeah, he resigns. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Unlucky. And lucky.
Yeah, very.
Depressing.
Yeah, you can see he's angry at himself, of course. So, yeah, Carlsen is going to come over. I'm afraid he will have to answer first some interviews by Norwegian TV, which is here in Zurich, transmitting this tournament live on the sports channel in Norway. So it's obvious that, yeah, well, it's obvious he has some obligations towards the TV, and yeah, we feel sad for Nakamura and absolutely understand his bitterness, and we can see in the outdoor the crowd is gathering and both players go out. So we will see if Carlsen comes around.
Any
I can see a Norwegian camera over there already ready to catch the champion, so we might have to be patient for a few minutes. Carlsen is still in the playing hole. I thought he had gone, so he's going out right now.
I'm sure they're trying to convince him to come over.
Well, he knows he has to come over at some point, but of course if Norwegian TV is first to catch him and they have positional advantage. So, yeah, but he's here, yeah, he seems to be coming over. And Hikaru is not here, I guess. No. This is, yeah, very much understandable. So Magnus is here, yes.
So we stay tuned, huh?
No, yeah, he's here, he's coming here.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
We have so many questions we don't dare to ask them.
Yeah, so Magnus, you won this game, and actually I would like to refer first to a comment of Peter Leko, who was commenting with us before. He left now, and he said, well, Nakamura was winning. It happens maybe to him once or twice in a year that he misses such chances. Why does it happen against Magnus?
I don't know. He doesn't always get chances like this against me, but
Yeah.
I played pretty badly. I sort of underestimated his attack, and he made all the right moves, and then at some point I think he had many ways to win, but he chose the first way which didn't win. I think. Well, maybe he's still better after d6.
Instead of d6, he had a beauty. Did you see that one?
well, you probably saw a few possible
I think
wins.
there are
for
many
it.
many wins.
The
for-
computer has a fantastic line.
Well, there
if
are
we
many,
If you allow us to,
With there showing queen f1,
you
the
play
knight
B5
goes, let's
and
say, and
rook
rook
takes
takes
h7.
h7.
This is incredible.
Yeah, this is nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even look for that. I just thought there should be so many ways to win for him.
But coming back, because Peter Lekos said that you also played a good game, even though you eventually ended up in a losing position. He couldn't really pinpoint a moment where you went wrong, so maybe he thought the whole strategy was maybe flawed or too risky. What do you think? Or maybe did you think that at one moment maybe you went wrong and allowed this attack to develop so easily?
I don't know. I think the whole setup is a little bit risky. I mean, I'm playing just trying to do something on the queen side, but I know that, I mean, he has attacking chances on the king side. He has a pass pawn and so on, but it's more or less interesting. But I think g6, I somewhat underestimated his attack here. I thought as long as he cannot get the knight into play, it shouldn't be so easy, but after a few moves the attack was just unstoppable. And I think I only realized it when he went queen g4 after I went rook b3. I thought he needed to go rook d3 or something, because I didn't really believe that he could just make me like this. But after queen g4, I was really I was pretty desperate already.
Yeah, because to make knight d6 work, you need one more tempo actually, and to get your knight to f8 later. And
exactly. No, I just lacked the one tempo, because if he doesn't break through immediately, then okay, I'm b5 and boom boom. I have my own play, but
yes,
yeah, as it was, I'm just too late, and I mean this bishop b2 is of course completely desperate, but I thought it's my only chance. I mean,
yeah. Actually, even though he got this attack, you kept putting some problems.
yeah.
You forced him to solve concrete problems, and
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's about, just keeping the game one move longer at a time. So,
yeah. So actually, yeah, he had several. When did you actually got fully aware that you were back in the game? Was it after queen takes e4, or
yeah,
or
when,
did you
well, when he played d6, I was very surprised, because I thought that, well, I'm very happy to get an open line, so that's worth much more than my knight. And the point, of course, is that he cannot go back to f5, because
Yes,
then
he's
e6
getting
is
mated.
available.
Yeah.
And then I thought maybe he could go knight c8.
Yeah, it's the only one.
Yeah. According to the computer.
But nevertheless, now it's not an easy win by any means
Sure,
anymore. I can, for instance, go rook d1, king b, king a2, king takes g7. If knight e7, I can go queen e6. But it's a game.
Yeah,
It's
not over by
it's
far.
not over by any means.
And then suddenly.
Yeah,
things
now
turned,
when I took on, I thought you could still make a draw with knight e3.
and this is indeed what the computer
Yeah.
seems to point.
Yeah, and then I think I have nothing better than queen d3. And then knight f5, queen d1, followed by rook d2 and perpetual. But I think at this point he was pretty upset anyway, and it's
He
last
understood
move
immediately.
before the time control. It's really hard to find best move. So now after queen h5, rook d3, I'm at least in control, and I'm sure I missed some much easier wins later on, but I felt that after this it's very, very hard to hold for him.
Yeah. So well, congratulations on this win, because it even though you need to find and maybe you were lost, you kept fighting in the game. So this is a great achievement. That actually, okay, you are lost, but you still remain in the game, and this is the trademark of the greatest. So,
Well, I
welcome.
just need to one move at a time. As long as there is no, obvious direct win and the material is equal, you should just keep playing and see what happens. But obviously, it's a bit of a freak occurrence that he doesn't win such a position. I mean, but if you keep fighting, you will be lucky once in a while.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So this is it with today's round, the third round in the Zurich Chess Challenge. We reached actually the middle of this tournament because 3 rounds out of 5 in classical chess have been played, but we also have the 6th day, which is no less important, since it is going to be a rapid tournament.
Which is quite attractive for the spectators.
Exactly. So 5 rounds, reverted colors. So those who were 3 times black in the classical will be 3 times white in the rapid. So it's a way to compensate. If you were not in great shape in the classical, you can still hope on the last day to be in good shape and to try and come back in the tournament, even though the result of the rapid games is going to count half as much as the classical games. Well, for us it was, Werner, a very tough day, eventful, a lot of emotion, especially with these games. I do not wish to underestimate or, criticize the other 2 games. They were extremely interesting too, especially also this game between Caruana and Anand was very complicated, but it remained a little bit out of focus because we were very much into this game, Nakamura and Carlsen. For me, indeed, I will be very pleased tonight. I will have some sushis. I will relax. I deserve it.
After this
definitely,
heartbreak.
I will be very happy with this. So, Werner, thank you. And we would also the 2 guests we had today, Jan Timman and Peter Leko, our everyday guest. Peter Leko comes and assists us every day, but Jan Timman came today for half an hour. It was very nice to have such a living legend and still kicking legend with us. So, well, thank you very much for following us, for following the games and witnessing one of the greatest events in the history of chess. So, well, thank you and see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock here in Zurich. Thank you and goodbye.